All right, welcome into a review episode of the Waiting in the Sky podcast with me, TJ Starman. Today is a day of love. It is Valentine's Day. If you're listening to this episode on the day that it's released. If you are not, then Valentine's Day just happened or is happening at some point in the future. And when you think about Valentine's Day, you think of love. And when you think about love, what do you think about other than Jackass? Because Jackass is obviously what you're thinking of. It's the perfect Valentine's Day movie, and it's what we're talking about today. So, Jackass Forever, which is the fourth installment of the franchise known as Jackass. Johnny Knoxville's love child just hit theaters a couple of weeks ago. I got around to it about a week late, but finally got around to it recently. And I gotta tell you, this has been a sentiment that I've seen online around Twitter and other places and in reviews and just general impressions about Jackass Forever. But this movie just hits differently in the pandemic because we've all been exposed to everything that's been going on in the world, and we've been quarantined and we've been masked everywhere and we've been avoiding people and we've been adjusting to a new normal. But you know what? When you watch Jackass Forever, all of that goes out the window. It's an entirely an extreme departure from your everyday life, our new normal, as it were, right now. And it's a lot of fun. Obviously, if you are familiar with Jackass in any capacity, you know that this is extremely immature humor, but it's humor nonetheless. You don't have to take it seriously because there's literally nothing to take seriously. It's just a bunch of grown men acting like toddlers, but they're best friends, and it's incredibly amusing. So that's what Jackass is in general, and it's just perfect for right now. So I definitely think it's worth getting out there and experiencing it on your own. But it just so everyone knows what they're getting into. I do want to talk a little bit about just my personal take on Jackass Forever. So, a little bit about my experience with the Jackass franchise. Like, I was a little young when the show was first airing on MTV. I remember it. It's like one of those that I would occasionally stumble upon like later at night, and I was like, "What is going on here?" Like, dudes are like running face first into walls, or like it's just these pranks that they're doing, but they were so simple and on the TV show. And what they did when they finally came out with Jackass the movie was they elevated everything. All of a sudden they have this ballooning budget for this cinematic experience that is Jackass the movie. And the stunts got bigger, more exciting, more dangerous. Like, guys are getting hurt, and it still felt like a bunch of guys just horsing around. And so it was a lot of fun. And obviously, it was fun enough that people saw it, people enjoyed it, and it spawned two more sequels in Jackass 2 and Jackass 3. I think I think they had more of a budget to work with each time, and I think that's evident in the if you watch the series back to back like that, you can kind of see where they're able to spend a little bit more money. They're able to bring in guests, celebrities and stuff to really add to the movie. And I think that that's something that we definitely see in this most recent one as well. But again, it all comes down to it's just a bunch of silliness, and it's a bunch of immature humor from people that are really close, and they can get away with the stuff that they do to each other because they are best friends, and they've all kind of opted into this. Well, legally, they did have to opt into this. So, I think that that spirit of Jackass carried on into Jackass Forever. So, little anecdote, a little bit to kind of set you up for my frame of mind for watching Jackass Forever. I actually was supposed to be going out on a date. Um, I was supposed to be meeting a girl I met on a dating app, and we were going to be going to Dave and Buster's. We are going to have a grand old time playing some games and maybe having some, like mozzarella sticks or something. Uh, I, I think she got rear-ended, is what the story was. She got rear-ended anyway. I got stood up. So I go to this movie theater because I love going to movies. I've been meaning to watch this movie, and I had all this free time that I wasn't expecting. So I go to the theater. I just started driving to the theater. I knew Jackass was playing. I'm like, oh, I've got nothing to do. I'm going to go to the theater. and I'll go to the next showing of Jackass. I arrive to the theater at 5:40 p.m. I pull up my phone, I look at the Regal app. The next showing of Jackass Forever is at 5:40 p.m. It's a sign. I was meant to be here, right? So I go into the app, I buy my ticket, I can select my seat. Great feature, I love it. The theater is empty. So I'm the only one going to see this movie on a Thursday night. And I just, it was exactly what I needed in that moment. It's exactly what I think the world needs in this moment of the pandemic right now. It was just dumb fun. And so that's really what I can say. I can't say that enough about this movie. It's dumb fun, and it will raise your spirits. Um, I should also warn people there is a lot of full frontal male nudity in this movie. If you are uncomfortable with that, then stay away at all costs because they are not shy about this. It is literally from the very beginning throughout, and it is hilarious in the ways that they are doing this. But it is there, and if you are not prepared for it, you will be caught off guard. So, take that and arm yourselves with that knowledge. Um, but some of the if you want to go in completely blind, I don't know why you're listening to this review in the first place, but I want to touch on some of the things that I thought were the most entertaining in this movie. So some of the, I guess they would be sketches or scenes. I'm just going to call them scenes for the sake of simplicity. um there's a night vision scene in this, and I was rolling, absolutely rolling. So what it is they lure a couple of the cast members into a room, shut out the lights completely, and they're led to believe that there is this venomous snake in the room. And the other guys all have the night vision goggles, so they can see what's going on, and we see it through the night vision camera. But the guys have no idea what's happening, and so they're just getting messed with, and then at some point, they make it sound like the snake has actually gotten loose, and then they have a little device that's imitating a snake bite, and it's just absolutely amazing. That's a scene that you absolutely need to be ready for because it's amazing. There is a scene with bees that is absolutely atrocious, and I was uncomfortable the entire time, but it was one of those things like you can't look away from a train wreck. And so that's what I'm gonna say is there's a scene with bees. You'll know it when you see it. There's the triple wedgie, which I think is a huge standout in this film. The triple wedgie. Um, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's three dudes getting wedgies at the same time in this elaborate device. But it is hilarious to see. You can't beat a classic wedgie, I suppose. They also did kind of this like passing the torch type thing throughout the movie, where a lot of these scenes are variations of things that they had done in either the first movie or in the earlier movies and series in general. That I think is kind of cool. So if you've followed the movies or if you've at least seen them, once or twice, it's something that you can appreciate. They definitely do. They do a cool callback in the credits that you can kind of see where a lot of those influences are and a lot of the variations that they've done. So definitely something I thought was kind of cool for them to do, and they didn't necessarily need to do that because again, it's Jackass. It's dumb. They could do whatever. There's a scene with a vulture and oh my gosh, I just could not handle this. This vulture that his feasting off of pieces of meat that have been placed on a human being, and that's pretty much all it was. But I was just so uncomfortable. Birds, man, I can't do it with birds. Birds just absolutely freak me out. The simplistic way that I put this is that why I don't like birds. Too many sharp, pointy bits. Their beaks, their talons. Vultures are super scary, and so that was it was a lot to watch that. And it's just yeah, that's just an example. A few of the scenes that stood out to me as being memorable and really made this worth it. I will absolutely watch this again, probably when it comes out on home video or streaming. I know Paramount Plus, if you are interested, is streaming the entire Jackass series, or well, not the maybe not the entire. I know they just added the Jackass series, and they have the movies plus the point five. They did Jackass point five, 1.5, 2.5. Little behind the scenes gets added to those cuts. For those of you that don't know, they also had Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa with Johnny Knoxville dressed up as his old man character from Jackass. and they made a whole movie. And that one's interesting because they actually tried to have a storyline fold into it. Um, but overall, I really like Jackass Forever. I thought that, on a 5-star scale, I'd give it a 4.5. And obviously this is not, peak cinema, but it's a different bar for something like this. This was just fun. It was entertaining. It was enjoyable. Something that you can easily watch again and experience again, and it'll still be enjoyable. And so that's all you're really looking for in this movie, and that's what it delivers on. I think if I were to kind of do a quick ranking, and again, I've not watched all of these recently, but if I were to do a quick ranking of Jackass 1, 2, 3, Forever, and Bad Grandpa, um, and probably, I think this one might be towards the top. I would say Jackass 1's probably the bottom, then probably 2, then I'd probably go 3, yeah, Bad Grandpa 3, 4. 4 is gonna be at the top for me if I had to do that quick ranking like that. But overall, I enjoyed it. If you want a dumb fun time, go see this movie. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It'll definitely be worth it. And with that, I will wrap up this review episode. So the next episodes of the Waiting in the Sky podcast, you're actually gonna see the first official new episode of season 2 of the podcast. That's going to be coming out on Thursday. So definitely check that out. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls with my cousin Kyle. And we're also going to be talking about Uncharted, this video game series that is now venturing into the movie industry. So with the Tom Holland movie that's coming out. So next week's review episode is going to be the Uncharted movie. So definitely listen to the episode, giving a little bit of background into that, and then join us again next week for the Uncharted review. But please, if you're not already following us on social media, please follow the podcast on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all the things, Facebook, all of the things. And we're at in the sky podcast. You can find us. You can also check out the description below. But that's it. I'll see you next time for another review.